Alright guys, welcome back. As you can see, it is a beautiful Sunday afternoon and we're all still alive. The world didn't blow up or whatever last night like all these people were thinking. But I need to loosen this wire a little bit. As you can see, the cows are back out here. Last week I ran the wire up the rest of the water on, and this morning I gathered up all my pigtail posts and got the wire standing up the waterway so I could get the cows out here. And I got the gate open down here, but some of the old cows know what the riser is from the days a couple years ago when I moved the cows every day. And they don't want to walk all the way down there if they don't have to. As you can see, I gotta get these posts put in the ground. There's actually one tipped over there. Actually, it looks like this one's hitting on the wire. I'm just gonna tip them over for right now. The ground is so hard right now that it's really hard pounding posts in the ground. I actually don't pound posts in the ground by hand. I use my maul, my small maul, and get the posts so they just stand up. And then I use a skid loader and I push them in the ground, but the ground is so hard right now. But this is a riser. It's just a piece of PVC 4 foot long. Got a bolt in it here so it will sit on top of the post. I use these pin locked insulators so you can just pull the wire out. And then on top here you see that notch that's cut. That just holds the wire up. It's called a riser. Now the cows can sneak through there. I can sneak under there with a gator. And if I use my other riser on that post, I can actually get the skid loader underneath them. But there's not much here for them to eat. Come on, girls. Come on. And you know, they were just out here a couple weeks ago and they remember there being a wire back here where the tall stuff is. So they don't know they can go back farther. And which there's stuff up here to eat, as you can see. I'm hoping to get a mower, not a hay bine, but like a brush hog or something like that, that I can come out here and mow all this foxtail down. But come on, girls. Back here in the valley, if you look back and watch the videos from last winter of me out wintering the cows, I fed down where the corn is and I fed up there on that hill. We grazed that this spring. Then I pulled the cows off and I did some fence work, and then I cut it. If you guys remember, first cutting was hay in a day. I cut it and then baled it the next day, and then I cut a second cutting off of it. Now this is going to be the second time it'll be grazed this year, so actually it'll be about the same as the fourth cutting. But all this taller foxtail they don't want to eat, so I'd really like to mow it down to the ground. And I really should come out here with a no-till and no-till some orchard grass into it, but I think we're gonna wait and see what comes up next spring. Being it's gonna be already growing, it should be on track next year for cutting it for hay. But come on, girls, come on, come on, come on. So hopefully it'll look better than this next year. I do see alfalfa and some clover coming down there. It's kind of thin, but I'll seed into it next year if it doesn't fill in. I have a feeling it won't, but we'll see what it looks like after it's on schedule with being cut. Like up here, hasn't had manure and it hasn't been wintered on yet, so it doesn't look as good. But if you remember back here, is where we fed those bales, and I'm going to show you the difference now, how well it grows versus, you know, where it hasn't been grazed. But you can see this has been planted. This is what I planted yesterday before I made the video of planting up there. But this stuff here, as you can see, this all up in here is where I bale grazed. And all these darker spots you can see, that's where they there's either a pile of manure there, or this where they took a leak. But this orchard grass here, I'm going to take the glasses off. If you guys can see this, it's up to my waist. So, you know, that's how much better this looks where this was bale grazed last winter. If you guys remember how I discussed about the corn stalk bales, how I didn't want the cows to eat all of it, I wanted some left for fodder. Most of that was broke down already by the time we baled. There was still some. The rake might have gathered up just a little bit, but not very much. But now it's gone. You know, here's some seed that'll cows won't eat that. That'll get knocked to the ground. Same here. But this is what it looks like after bale grazing. Here we've got some, looks like Timothy maybe. Here we've got alfalfa and what have you down in here. But I'm going to have them graze this off. And then, see, earlier this year I had the fence come down around here and they grazed through the woods and whatever. Well, then I just fenced it the old way back up along there and pulled that back out because I'm letting this grow up anyways. And actually the fence is gone now. I'm going to farm right to the woods, and then next year again they'll come out here and graze in the fall. But now they can go and eat everything, all the grass around the trees and everything that's growing. And I hand seeded a bunch of mix out in these woods as well, and it is coming. Obviously it's just established, so it's still pretty short. But next year there'll be a bunch of available forage, because this is going to be corn again for corn silage. All the manure is going to get hauled out on this field. So we're trying to build this soil up, because this field I haven't hauled a lot of manure on it. So this one is due to get a bunch put on it. And next year the corn is going to go all the way over the shack. It never grows very much where it's shaded there, but it's going to be corn silage again. It's the flattest field I have, basically, and it works good for corn silage. But this winter rye will be harvested for hay in the spring. Then we'll no-till the corn into it. And then when we're planting here, you know, this will still be hay on this side of it, and then from that waterway back will still be hay grown. That side hill up there where I planted that winter rye, that's what the pasture walk is going to be kind of talking about in October. So I see these cows come back here, and you'll see how happy they get once they see this green grass. Come on, girls! Come on! They found a little bit of green grass there that hasn't been messed with yet. So that's what's going on. Then the rest of this corn, we're going to combine it. I'm not going to drill into it. I'm just going to broadcast seed. If you guys remember last year, I broadcast seeded the center of this. We chopped off the outside rounds all the way back, and then I broadcast seeded the center. And we no-tilled the outside. I'm just going to broadcast seed the winter rye into those corn stalks. And then as the cows are eating, the seed will get knocked down to the ground. Their hooves will push it into the ground. It probably won't germinate this fall, not all of it. The majority of it will probably germinate in the spring. and it's just going to get burned down and no-tilled corn back into it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. They found them corn stalks over there. That corn, there's a couple plants over there that I didn't chop off. But anyways, that's what this is looking like. That's kind of the plan. My plan is next year, the top half, all the way back to the waterway, that's not going to be hay over there. Top half is going to be oats. Bottom half is going to be corn for shell corn for feeding calves. Same with the oats. Next year, I believe I'm going to start using my creep feeder again for my beef calves. And then I want shell corn and oats for baby calves, bottle calves. And I'm going to do some work out here, try and cut some of these trees back and open it up so it's not quite as shaded. But you can see the grass that's growing up in the woods. But along here, I want them to come and graze off as much of this as they can. Pretty much give everything else, all the pastures, time to grow back before winter. I don't want it to be overgrazed. So there's not a lot of stuff in here for them to eat, but there's some. Once they get hungry, they'll come through and eat a lot of it. But that's what we got going on. That where that outrunnering was, you can really see the difference there. Here, park here in the shade where it's not quite as hot. But now you can see here where that post is, and then it's the pasture and then the cornfield. This corn, I'm going to take off some of it when I'm combining, and then I'm going to leave some for deer corn until after deer hunting. But I have another wood post there to set. One of these days I'll run over the skid loader and set it, and it'll line up with that wood post. I just run a poly wire down here to keep the cows away from the corn. But then all these corn stalks, once we're done combining, I'm going to come out, like I say, broadcast seed the winter eye. Then the cows can come out here and graze those corn stalks until we get too much snow and they can't find the corn stalks or whatever. I'm really hoping that we don't get a lot of snow until January. I'd really like to see how long I can graze that. I'm going to have to feed hay, but you guys probably, it's hard to tell. But right in here is that hillside where I was really worried nothing was going to grow. That corn stayed knee-high for the longest time. But then late this summer it took off, and now it's 6-7 feet tall. When we're out here grazing these stalks, the cows aren't going to have just the corn stalks to eat. I'm going to feed bales out here too. As you can see, the last cutting of hay on that field, them bales are still rolled up right there. Just put a poly wire around it before I let the cows out here, and then I'll just take those bales and feed them back here in the spots that look like they need, they need help. And then I'm probably going to stock chop them corn stalks late, and then next spring I'm just going to spray burn down and then no-till the next crop of corn into it. All the cows are going to do is eat the corn stalks and the hay. They won't eat all the hay because I don't feed in a bale ring, so they kind of leave some behind, which is fine. That helps build the soil. As you can see what it's done for the grass over here. They're gonna, whatever they eat, they're just going to convert back to fertilizer. Now whatever stocks are still there are going to be fodder for on top of the ground for next year. If we have a drought, that fodder on top really makes a huge difference for holding moisture in the ground. This year we had a wet year. That was planted into sod, so it's hard to compare. But if it's dry next year, I don't want to get rid of all the armor on top of the soil to help hold moisture. And that's why I'm just going to spray the winter eye on that, because it's going to have all the corn stalks in it yet. It's possible that if I stock chop it this fall, a guy could cut it with the hay bind and put it in a windrow and and still bale it and not get all the corn stalks with it. But that side hill, I'm trying to build the fertility up in that, because eventually it'll go back into hay ground. So I'm kind of using this as a tool to build that soil up before then, because it is a lot of gravel. and gravel doesn't hold moisture for very long. So that's kind of what the plan is with that. The deer corn down here, as soon as gun season is done, we'll combine the rest of it off. The cows, I don't think I'm even going to let them in there. I'm just going to leave the stock stand. Then next year we'll just no-till the corn right between these corn rows, and it'll be the same next year. This year the corn, silage corn, is going to come over as far as I can go. I'll bring the 40/20 out here and push brush back, and I'm going to go and cut some more trees out of here to open up so it's not shaded quite as bad. But then, like I say, there is this grass growing up in here that every year comes in a little bit thicker, and then I seeded some back there. So that then becomes available for this time of year when all the other pastures have been grazed off. They've kind of petered out for the year. They're not really growing, you know, and now 90 degrees the last couple days hasn't helped. Not the grass anyways, it's helped the corn, but it hasn't helped the grass. So then this gives me late season grazing. You know, that's kind of what the plan is. But they're gonna walk up along the waterway now and find all the corn that I run over, which there's not a lot left because the deer have already ate most of the corn off the cob. It's just stalks, so shouldn't be a whole lot to worry about. But next year I'm gonna plant following the water, and I don't know what I was thinking this spring. I started on this side. I should have started over there, and I went ahead of them goofy rows over there. So yeah, that's what we got going on. This is what she's looking like. Right now they're gonna help cover up this winter eye seed because a lot of my furrows didn't close behind the drill. So them walking over will help close it, and hopefully we get some rain here in the next day or two. And that should help get this stuff germinate and get it growing. And basically I'm probably going to leave the cows on this out here until that's ready to be grazed. What I will do is I will feed hay out here, and we will start at the far back, and feed bales back there and just keep working our way forward until that's ready to be grazed. And then next spring when I haul manure, wherever we stop feeding the bales, we'll start hauling or start spreading from there forward. So that's kind of the plan. And with the steers on the lot, I'm going to cover that with manure next year between hay cuttings. So, but these little girls, you can see the two oldest ones right here leading the pack. That's the oldest one. Here's her daughter. They're going to come over here in the shade and eat the grass in the shade, which I don't blame them. That's why I'm hiding out in the shade too. So anyways, that's what we got going on. That's what that grass looks like where we outwintered and we fed hay. So it's a definite improvement. If you can feed your cows out in your cropland and not have to spend the extra money to haul manure in the spring, it's well worth it. And that's what you can see, the difference by doing so. So anyways, guys, I don't know how long this is getting because I'm using my Gold Vision glasses. So I'm gonna cut this off right now and say thanks for watching. Hope you all are having a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.